In a bright, sunny corner of the jungle, where colorful flowers bloomed all year round, lived a very special baby elephant named Puffy. Puffy wasn't like the other elephants. He was tiny, with big, sparkly eyes, the cutest pink cheeks, and he always wore a little red scarf his grandma knitted for him. More than anything in the whole wide world, Puffy wanted to fly. He'd spend all day watching the colorful birds soar high above the treetops, swooping and twirling in the big blue sky. Puffy would take a deep breath and flap his big, floppy ears as hard as he could. Wiggle, wiggle, flap, flap. He'd lift off the ground, 1 inch, 2 inches, and then plop, back down with a soft little thump. He'd let out a tiny, sad trumpet sound that sounded more like a squeak. Flying, it seemed, was much harder than it looked. Determined, Puffy decided to ask his friends for help. First, he found Pip the monkey, who was swinging upside down from a long, twisty vine. Pip. Puffy called out, "Can you teach me how to fly?" Pip swung down, did a funny flip, and landed right in front of Puffy, giggling. "Fly, Puffy, you're an elephant. Elephants don't fly, they stomp, 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 stomp." Pip laughed and bounced away into the trees. Feeling a little disappointed, Puffy went to find Zazu the parrot, who was preening his bright green feathers. "Zazu, you're the best flyer I know. Can you help me?" Zazu squawked loudly, ruffling his feathers. "Fly, squawk." "You're much too heavy, Puffy. You'd need wings as big as a banana tree." Puffy's trunk drooped a little. His last hope was Gary the giraffe, who was munching on leaves from the tallest tree. Puffy looked way, way up. "Gary, do you think I could fly if I got a running start?" Gary slowly lowered his long neck, his kind eyes blinking. "Oh, Puffy," he said gently, "that's just impossible for an elephant. But you give the best hugs on the ground, Puffy's." Little Elephant Heart felt heavy. With his trunk dragging on the dusty path, he walked away feeling like his dream would never come true. Puffy wandered deeper into the jungle, his little footsteps barely making a sound. He walked and walked until he heard the gentle sound of splashing water. He pushed aside a giant leaf and his eyes went wide. In front of him was a beautiful waterfall, cascading down mossy rocks with a perfect shimmering rainbow arching right over it. And there, lying on a patch of soft moss, was something sparkling. It was a single golden feather, glowing with a soft, warm light. As Puffy reached out his trunk to touch it, a slow, wise voice spoke. "Be careful with that, little one." Puffy turned to see Sheldon, the oldest and wisest tortoise in the jungle, blinking slowly at him. "That," said Sheldon, "is the feather of wishes. It holds one very powerful wish. But it will only work when your heart is at its bravest. Use it wisely, Puffy." Puffy gently picked up the feather. One wish he could wish to fly. He could finally soar through the sky. He held the feather tight, his heart thumping with excitement. Suddenly, the sky turned dark. The sunny jungle was gone, replaced by grey, swirling clouds. A loud clap of thunder echoed through the trees, and rain began to pour down. Crack-boom, a bolt of lightning split the sky, and the calm river nearby started to roar and rise. Puffy looked toward the river and gasped. A log had broken free and was being tossed around in the angry water, and clinging to it were his friends. Pip the monkey, Zazu the parrot, and even a tiny baby bunny were all soaked and scared, screaming for help as the log started to sink. "Help us, we can't swim in this," they cried. Puffy ran to the riverbank, his little heart pounding with fear. The water was moving so fast, and his friends were in so much trouble. He was terrified. What could a tiny elephant possibly do? Then he felt a warmth in his trunk. The golden feather. He looked at it, glowing brighter than ever. This was it. He could make his wish. He could wish to fly away, safe from the storm, and soar into the clouds, just like he'd always dreamed. But he could save himself. He looked back at the sinking log, at the terrified faces of his friends. He saw Pip, who always made him laugh. He saw Zazu, who told the best stories. He saw the little bunny, trembling with fear. And in that moment, Puffy knew what he had to do. His heart felt bigger and stronger than ever before. He held the feather up high, took the deepest breath he'd ever taken, and shouted with all his might, not for himself, but for them. "I wish to save my friends." The moment the words left his mouth, the golden feather didn't just glow, exploded into a shower of a million rainbow sparkles, swirling all around him. A magical feeling tingled all over Puffy. The rainbow dust swirled around his ears, and they began to grow. They grew bigger and bigger, shimmering with all the colors of the rainbow, until they weren't ears anymore. They were magnificent, sparkly wings. Puffy flapped them once, and whoosh! He was lifted into the air. He was flying, not just floating, but truly flying. He zoomed through the stormy sky faster than any bird. He looped and swirled, feeling the power of his new wings. He flew straight towards the river, diving down just as the log slipped under the water. With one swift, graceful move, he scooped Pip, Zazu, and the bunny onto his strong back. "Hold on tight," he yelled over the wind. His friends clung to him, cheering and shouting with joy. "You're flying, Puffy. You're really flying." Puffy soared high above the storm, carrying his friends safely on his back. They hugged him tightly, right there in the middle of the sky, a tiny, brave elephant with wings of love. As they flew above the clouds, the storm below began to fade away. The sun peeked out, painting the sky in soft shades of orange and pink. Puffy's magical wings began to softly fade, the rainbow sparkles slowly dissolving into the air. But he didn't fall, he floated down, gently, gently, until his feet touched the soft grass of the jungle floor. His wings were gone, and he was just Puffy the tiny elephant again. But he wasn't sad. Pip, Zazu, and the bunny jumped off his back and immediately crowded around him, giving him the biggest group hug ever. They were so happy and thankful that they lifted him onto their shoulders, carrying him like a hero. From the shade of a large leaf, Sheldon the wise tortoise smiled. "You see, Puffy," he said softly, "you didn't need wings to fly. You just needed a heart full of love and courage. That's what truly lifts you up." As night fell, the jungle grew quiet. The storm was a distant memory, and the stars began to twinkle one by one. All the animals snuggled up together under the branches of a giant ancient tree. Puffy was tucked in between his friends, feeling warm and safe and loved. He wasn't the elephant who flew with wings. He was Puffy, the friend who flew with his heart. As they all drifted off to sleep, a cloud of fireflies gathered above them. They danced and swirled in the night air, spelling out two magical words for everyone to see: best friend. Puffy smiled in his sleep, his little red scarf fluttering in the gentle night breeze, dreaming not of flying alone, but of all the adventures he would have with the best friends in the entire world. Remember, you can fly higher with friends than you can with wings. We hope you loved Puffy's adventure. For more animal magic and bedtime stories, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Sweet dreams, little ones.